About 2,000 years ago, in the land of Judea, a child was born whose story would change the world for generations to come. At that time, many people were living through difficult circumstances. Many were waiting for a Messiah, someone who would bring hope and show people the way toward God. In the small town of Nazareth lived a young woman named Mary. According to Christian belief, an angel of God told Mary that she would give birth to a special child and that his name would be Jesus. For Mary, this was an extraordinary calling, yet she accepted God's will with faith. Later, Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem. It was there that Jesus was born. There was no great palace waiting for him. His birth took place in humble circumstances. According to Christian tradition, shepherds were told about the birth and came to see the child Jesus. They saw his birth as a sign of hope from God. Jesus was not born in a royal palace, but his story was beginning a journey that would eventually reach people across the entire world. The childhood Jesus. Jesus grew up in Nazareth. The Bible gives us very few details about his childhood, but the Gospel of Luke tells us about an important event when Jesus was about 12 years old. His parents had taken him to Jerusalem. While returning home, they realized that Jesus was not with them. They went back to Jerusalem searching for him. Eventually, they found Jesus in the temple, sitting among teachers, listening to them and asking questions. The people who heard him were amazed by his understanding. This moment shows that even as a young boy, Jesus had a deep interest in spiritual matters. After this, Jesus returned to Nazareth with his family and continued living a quiet life. Years passed, and then the day came when Jesus began his public ministry. John the Baptist. Before Jesus began his public ministry, a man named John was preaching to the people. John called people to change their ways, turn toward God, and prepare their hearts. One day, Jesus came to John. According to the Bible, John baptized Jesus. After this, Jesus began his public ministry. He traveled among the people, teaching about the kingdom of God. His message was simple, yet incredibly powerful. He called people to change their hearts, trust in God, and love one another. 4. The wilderness temptation. According to the Bible, after his baptism, Jesus went into the wilderness. There he experienced a difficult period and faced temptation. Yet he remained faithful to God. This became an important turning point in his life. Afterward, Jesus returned to the people and began his ministry. 5. The first disciples. Jesus did not spread his message alone. He called people to follow him. Several fishermen became his disciples. Peter, Andrew, James, and John were among those who followed him. Their lives began to change. They traveled with Jesus through villages and towns. They listened to his teachings and watched the way he treated people. Jesus taught them not only through his words, but also through the example of his life. 6. The message of love. One of the most important parts of Jesus' teaching was love. He taught that loving only our friends is not enough. People should treat others with kindness, mercy, and compassion. Jesus taught forgiveness. He reminded people that a person's value is not determined by wealth, power, or social position. Whether someone was poor or rich, sick or healthy, respected or ignored, every person mattered in the sight of God. This message slowly began reaching the hearts of many people. 7. Miracles and compassion. The Gospels describe many miracles associated with Jesus. They tell of people being healed from sickness. In one well-known event, Jesus and his disciples faced a powerful storm. The disciples were afraid, but Jesus brought calm in the middle of the storm. In another famous event, Jesus fed a large crowd with a small amount of food. For Christians, these miracles were not simply acts of wonder. They were seen as signs of Jesus' compassion and his identity. When suffering people came to him, Jesus did not ignore them. He saw their pain. He gave them hope. And this compassion made him different from many others. 8. The Sermon on the Mount. One of Jesus' most famous teachings is known as the Sermon on the Mount. He taught people about humility, mercy, peace, and righteous living. He taught that wealth and outward power are not the greatest measures of success. What matters most is the condition of the human heart. Jesus blessed those who pursue peace. He emphasized mercy and forgiveness. He taught people to trust God instead of being consumed by worry. His teaching was not simply a list of religious rules. It was a different way of seeing life. 9. The Good Samaritan. Jesus often used short stories to explain deep truths. One of the most famous is the story of the Good Samaritan. A man was traveling along a road when he was attacked and left in need of help. Several people passed by, but they did not help him. Eventually, a Samaritan came to him. At that time, Samaritans and Jews had serious tensions between their communities. Yet the Samaritan saw the injured man and showed him compassion. He cared for him and helped him reach a safe place. Through this story, Jesus taught that our neighbor is not simply someone who looks like us or belongs to our group. True love means showing compassion to anyone who needs our help. 10. The Prodigal Son. Another famous teaching of Jesus is the story of the prodigal son. A father had 2 sons. The younger son asked his father for his share of the inheritance and left home for a distant country. After some time, he lost everything. When he found himself in difficult circumstances, he remembered his home and his father. He decided to return. He was afraid that his father would not accept him. But when his father saw him from a distance, he ran to welcome him. This story teaches about forgiveness and God's love. Its message is that when someone sincerely turns back and seeks forgiveness, there can still be a path toward hope and restoration. Jesus and the children. On one occasion, people brought children to Jesus. His disciples tried to stop them, but Jesus welcomed the children. He gave them attention and showed them love. This was significant because children did not always receive the same level of attention and respect in the society of that time. Jesus' actions showed that people who are considered small, weak, or unimportant should also be treated with dignity and love. The journey to Jerusalem. As time passed, Jesus knew that his journey to Jerusalem would be one of the most important moments of his life. He traveled toward Jerusalem with his disciples. When he approached the city, crowds welcomed him. People waved palm branches as they honored him. Christian tradition remembers this event as Palm Sunday. Many people saw hope in Jesus, but the events of the coming days would change everything very quickly. The Last Supper. Jesus shared a final meal with his disciples, remembered in Christian tradition as the Last Supper. During that meal, he taught his disciples about love and service. He told them that difficult times were coming, yet he encouraged them to remain faithful. He also taught them that true greatness does not come from ruling over others. True greatness comes through serving others. The Last Supper became one of the most important memories in Christian faith. A difficult night. After the meal, Jesus went with his disciples to pray. According to the Bible, he was facing an extremely serious moment. He prayed to God. His disciples were with him, but they did not fully understand how difficult the coming hours would be. Soon afterward, Jesus was arrested. Fear spread among his disciples. Jesus was taken before religious and political authorities. 15. The trial of Jesus. Jesus was questioned and accusations were made against him. Eventually, he was sentenced to death under Roman authority. This became the most difficult period of his earthly life. According to Christian belief, even during his suffering, Jesus remained committed to forgiveness and trust in God. He was crucified. We do not need to focus on graphic details of this painful event. For Christians, the crucifixion has a deep spiritual meaning. Christian belief teaches that Jesus gave himself as a sacrifice for the sins of humanity. 16. death and silence. After Jesus died, everything changed for his followers. The people who had followed him were filled with grief and confusion. The person in whom they had placed their hope was no longer with them. It seemed as though the story had come to an end, but the story of Jesus does not end there, because the next event is at the very center of Christian faith. 17. The resurrection. According to the Bible, Jesus' tomb was found empty on the third day. His followers believed that Jesus had risen from the dead. Afterward, he appeared to his disciples. For them, this was an extraordinary and life-changing event. The group that had recently been filled with fear now showed renewed faith and courage. They decided to share the message of Jesus with the world. The resurrection became the center of Christian faith. It became a message of hope. Death does not have the final word. Darkness can be followed by light, and faith can give people strength even during the most difficult moments. 18. The final message of Jesus. According to the Bible, Jesus gave his disciples the responsibility of sharing his message with others. He told them to spread the message of faith, love, and God's kingdom. The disciples traveled to different places. They told people about Jesus and his teachings. Slowly, the message spread beyond Jerusalem. It reached different communities and eventually many nations around the world. Over time, Christianity became one of the world's largest religions. Why does the story of Jesus still matter today? Nearly 2,000 years later, people around the world still read the story of Jesus. Why? Because for millions of people, it is more than an ancient story. It is a story of love, a story of forgiveness, a story of hope. Jesus showed his followers a path of service rather than power. He taught that feeding someone who is hungry matters, comforting someone who is hurting matters, forgiving someone who has made a mistake matters, and above all, love and compassion should have a place in our lives. The final message: imagine a small town, a humble family, a simple light, and then a message that would travel across the entire world. Jesus taught people not to give up hope. When life becomes difficult, hold on to faith. When someone hurts you, choose forgiveness. When someone needs help, offer compassion. And when the world is filled with hatred, choose love. That is one of the most powerful messages found in the story of Jesus. He was born in humble circumstances. He taught people about love, mercy, and compassion. He taught his disciples about service and faith. He faced an extremely difficult time. According to Christian belief, he rose from the dead, and his message continues to reach hearts around the world. Choose love, choose forgiveness, choose hope, and keep faith alive in your heart. Jesus Christ, a story of love, faith, forgiveness, and hope.